You know what I do want to do though? I am about to pull this up. Okay, as the GA, can you do something about the Yeah. Well, but you know, it's kind of. Yes. Hi, how are you? Yeah, come on, Nate. Yeah. Hey, Molly. Our presenters are here and awesome. Hi. How are you? You. Oh, you're nice.
Yeah, she was really nice.
You both could follow me this way. Hey, Kirsten. Yes. Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
of course. We should start having little table tents for our presenters, so you all know where to go.
Absolutely. So we will have announcements, students speak out, and then it will be time for your presentation. So our and then
Okay, Dylan. I do. I've always had one. Yes, so they can hear me. Ooh. Skinny legend, skinny legend, skinny legend. Okay. Oh, okay. All good? Okay. Good person? What? You good person? Yeah. Alrighty. I call this meeting to order. Are there any students to speak out this evening? All right, seeing none, we will now proceed to announcements. Does the body have any announcements this evening? Happy Women's History Month. But that's all I have to say. All right. All right. Now I would like to introduce to the body Janine Hacker, and Executive Director of Housing and Residence Life, and Joanna. Welcome. Thank you.
Well, let me know if you can't hear me, especially via Teams. I'm sure you have a way to do that. Louder?
Yeah. That microphone is for our teams to hear you.
Oh, so I have to talk for
yes,
you all.
Yes.
Okay, I got
yes.
this. Hi, folks. My name is Jonna Matoya. I'm the Director of Business Operations with Housing and Residence Life. I have served in that role for, I think, a year now. So I'm still working through it, but I've had the privilege of working with the business operations team for 10 years. So I'm actually going into my 10th room selection cycle that I'm super excited about, because this is one of those moments each and every year that I get to work directly with students and really help face that, especially second year students, help face that retention moment for them, right? As they're coming from their first year and into their second year experience. So my goal today is to talk to you all about that. And I actually have two goals. Number one is to really tell you all of our story about what our room selection process looks like, and why we have it the way we have it, but also to give you all food for thought to potentially come back to us and have conversations about the process itself. So that's my first goal. My second goal is really just to give you all an opportunity to hopefully hear how much we care deeply about each and every one of you and each and every one of our Bobcats that walks through our residence halls each and every year. one piece that I don't always share with everybody, but I'm a mother of 5. And so when I approach and when my team approaches each and every student that we talk to, we approach it very much through the same lens that I approach my 5 children with, right? I have 5 children. I have to set some standards. I have to set some levels of consistency, or I would have chaos on my hands, right? But I also know that each and every one of them has very individual needs and very individual experiences. And so I have to also approach each and every moment with them from that individual lens as well, and hear them out and try to formulate their experience in a way that best suits them. So as you kind of hear our experiences and how we work through the process, just know that that's one of our lenses, is that kind of standard that we have to set for each and every one of our students, but that individual approach we take to really hear each student out and find the best way to meet their needs as well. And I don't think I've ever used one of these. So that's us. Really quick, just 2023-24 by the numbers. So we have 36 residence halls coming up that will be open, that we anticipate. 428 beds will be master leased with River Park. There was 118 this year. 29 beds in Skyview will be available to upper class students who created a contract. We have 294 commuter contracts as of this moment. 4,169 returning student contracts have been completed. 8 information sessions have taken place around campus. 31 students attended a Meet Your Match roommate finding event a couple weeks ago. At 5 p.m. on Sunday, we will open up a variety of our residence halls for students to go and see the different types of halls that we have open. And that will take place at 5 p.m. on March 5th. And 118 students have used the advanced roommate search. So I hope to come back to some of those pieces in a little bit, but I just wanted to give you some quick numbers. Timeline. This is just very basic stuff, right? Hopefully y'all have seen some of these timelines across campus. December 1 through February 22nd was our time frame for first to second year students to complete their housing contract. December 1, we opened up our roommate matching opportunity. March 6th is when we release all those room selection dates and times to all of our students, where they can at least know when they will select their room. March 21st through the 22nd is the living opportunity selections that take place for a variety of unique populations. March 27th through the 31st is our general room selection. And then April 5th, we start our room change process all over again. So that's our timeline. And this is the fun stuff. All right, so student-centered approach to process. There's 4 points I really wanted to talk about our process. You all just saw like the basics, right? The nitty-gritty. This is what it is. This is when it takes place. This is what the majority of our students will see and how they will participate through our room selection process. There's a lot that takes place in the background from our end to hopefully help make as many students as we can as happy as possible with their upcoming room selection process. Number one piece of our process is we do have that 2-year housing requirement, right? That requirement is a part of our piece. It is those 2 years, those groups in those 2-year piece are the groups that we're really focused on when we go through our process. But just as a reminder that requirement is based on student development theory, right? We know that the essentials are a very important piece for students and their academic success. Those essentials being housing and dining. Students, all the research shows that students are much more likely to be successful if they have those 2 needs met first. So that's just number 1 in regards to our process and kind of why we're doing what we're doing, right? Why we're going through this entire conversation right now. Number 2, and this is where I'm going to need some of you all right now. So, fair and consistent process that levels the playing field for each and every one of our students that are required to live on campus. We know for our first year students, we have a need to figure out what our occupancy management is, like how many first year students are going to come. And so we have incentivized that room selection process for our incoming first years to be based off of their housing contract, right? So if you submit your housing contract on December 1 and tell us like, hey, I'm coming to Ohio University, so we can plan accordingly and best prepare for everybody, there's an incentive to that that creates a win-win for everybody. For second years, for our first to second year students, we don't necessarily need that incentive anymore, right? We know that our first to second year students are required to live on campus, and we have that number, right, of students that are coming in. So our next obligation then is to figure out the most fair and consistent way that we can to create a room selection process, to take that 4,169 students and basically make it as I'll just say the words again, fair of a process as possible. I have found the best metaphor for me to think about this is I have 4,169 students who need to get on an airplane. They need to get on an airplane to come from March to next August, right? Some students are going to get really lucky and get the window seat. Some students are going to get even luckier to get the aisle seat. And some students are going to be in the middle seat, right? But it's just about when you get in line. The question is, how do I get you all in line, right? So my question to you all, as I approach the next 2 months with talking to students and parents about our room selection process, what recommendations do you all think that we will hear in regards to how we should create those room selection dates and times? What criteria do you think we get told to utilize or recommended to utilize each year? Takers? Yeah. Credit hours completed, absolutely. That's one that we hear. Others? No thoughts? You have one, I can see it. No? No thoughts? GPA maybe? Do you think people ask us to utilize GPA to create their room selection dates and times? If I have a higher GPA, should I be able to go first? What about conduct? Well, this student created some adverse experiences in my residence hall the first year. Why do they get an earlier room selection date and time than I do? Yeah, oh, sorry, yeah.
The programs that you're in, so
The-
maybe honors students versus not honors students.
Right? So programs, or even programs that you've attended, right? Like I go to all of these events, I'm creating community here at Ohio University. Should I get an earlier selection date and time for that? Majors, right? I have a really difficult major. I think I should be, I have 2 majors, right? So I'll give you a couple of points of feedback and just like our food for thought for how and why we actually created our current process, which is a completely random process, right? And I'll say we've created this with Student Senate over the course of years, and we continue to come back for feedback on this. So just as an FYI, that's like looking to you all to see like, is this still what our students consider fair as well? So for me, when we look at GPA, it's really hard to distinguish what a good GPA is for one person's experience versus another experience. I might have, a mother who's going through a really difficult time at home in Cleveland, and I have to go home every weekend. I'm getting by with a 2.5, right? But it would have been a 3 if I didn't have this adverse experience that I'm having to juggle with. Or I have to work 30 hours a week, and I don't necessarily have the same time to study as somebody who is taking 2 majors, right? So when we look at GPA, that for us is one we can't create a seamless experience with all of the different programs and all of the different life experiences that are happening across campus. Majors are the same way. There's no way to distinguish which major is difficult for one individual versus another individual. Programs and programmatic opportunities, we do offer a couple of experiences that we provide extra programming within the halls for that specific program. But in regards to selection across campus, how do we say, well, if you're getting these extra pieces over here because of the program you're in, that somebody over here shouldn't get that opportunity to also select in that same room, right? Any others that I missed on this one? Even attending programs, right? We're in residence life, right? We love people who come to our programs and who, participate. But what if I do have to go to work instead of participating in that room select or in that RA program? I would have loved to have gone, but I have to go over here and meet this obligation. But should I be hindered with my room selection process just because of that outside obligation? So those are just food for thought. When we think about, and when you guys approach these next couple of weeks and you hear your student body talking about room selection and what they think is fair, really, this is what we've come up with over the course of time, right? But we haven't been here for a couple of years. Is this still accurate? Is this still like what we should be doing, what we could be doing best for our students? I always hate the word, when I say fair and consistent, I always hate the word fair as it comes out of my mouth, because nothing is fair in this process. Like I said, not every single student is going to get the same seat, and that to me is not fair. But I can provide a consistent process, and I can make a level playing field for each and every one of our students as they're coming through. And that is what our team is working so hard to do right now. So, random computer generated number is what we've got. We will put all 4,169 students into a system. They will be in a great big list. Somebody will hit auto generate, and we will basically see all of those names mix up, jumble up as if they were put into the little bingo spinny thing, and they will pop up. Somebody will be number 1 and somebody will be number 4,169, right? So that is our process. That is how we come up with that. It is no more magical than exactly what it is. But we do hope it's as fair and consistent as we can provide to each and every one of our students. So those were 2 pieces. Keeping connections. When you're going through our process, one of the most important pieces for our process is trying to keep people together. We want to keep, especially for our first to second year students, they're going to match up in groups of 4 because our suites are groups of 4 for the most part, right? So we have worked really hard over the course of time to find the best way to help those groups of 4 stay together. Convocation Center was converted from first year to second year students to help keep first year or second year students in groups of 4. We have subgrouping in our software system now that we worked really hard with our software provider to help us find ways if a hall does become filled, but 2 groups one group can split up 2 and 2, that we can help kind of keep them at least close together, and then work through switching and things like that to get together. Consolidation, so our team will work heavily throughout the room selection process. We have a situation that happens, and I totally get it. I'd probably do the same thing, where if I have 4 rooms, right, and I have 4 students who go to select in, and they're all by themselves, so they don't have a roommate with them. One's going to select in room 1, one's going to select in room 2, one's going to select in room 3, one's going to select in room 4. No way that number 4 is going to self-select in with a roommate. I would love to know the theory that comes behind that. But basically, they'll separate, right? And we will consolidate those students to help those groups that are matched up in groups of 2 or 4 or whatever it is, to help get them together. So we're working really hard. We make sure that the room sizes are the same and things like that. But we're trying to make sure that we are honoring those groups as much as possible. We also have expanded GIH. I'll talk about it just a little bit more in the other slide, but expanded GIH has been one of our biggest coups here at Ohio University. We offer an opportunity for students to select roommates of any gender, different gender, whatever it is, and then select into rooms together. So we basically replicate our standard system for any students who are looking to basically go with a different group outside of the cultural norm, right? So we're really excited about that it can be non-gender based, and we're super proud of it, and we continue to offer more opportunities with it. Service-centered. I think the last big thing when I think about our student service-centered approach and process for this room selection is that we are service-centered. We offer texting now. We always offer phones, but we try to meet our students where they are. We will offer extended hours throughout the returning student room selection process. So we'll stay open until 8 p.m. every night to make sure that we're really there and supporting our students as they're going through this room selection process. We have an individual approach. So this is probably my favorite part about what we do and the team that I have and how committed we are, is that if students come up to us and they are really frustrated with the system and how it has worked for them, we are talking to them. We invite them back into our offices, we sit and we listen and we explain the process. We very rarely turn around and say like, oh, well, here's a different room for you, right? Because we can't do that. Like I said, when I think about my 5 children, right? I might understand why one really, really wants to watch TV at a different time than all the others do, but I can't just say like, sure, you go ahead. But can I find ways to help best approach it and best support that one individual's needs, right? So when I have conversations with students, we bring them back, we talk to them, and we give them steps. We give them steps to help best meet where they are at the moment, but also to succeed in getting the room that they really, really want without us going outside of the process that we have set that is fair and consistent for all the other Bobcats. Finally, we have a room change process. Has anybody ever used it? Was it successful? Oh, good, good, good. So on campus, awesome. Okay, I remember talking to you, so I'm glad to hear that you found a good opportunity.
The smiling is crazy.
Any room change process? Okay, via the online system or once you got to campus? Once you got to campus. Was anybody here successful with using the online? We usually get a couple, well, I hope what you all hear and what we have done over the course of time is we will work that consolidation effort and other pieces. We will work from the time room selection closes to the time that opens, and then throughout the entire summer to open up as many spaces in our inventory as we can to our students so that they are successful with finding the best option for them out of our available inventory. And just continual improvement and assessment. That's why I'm here, right? How can we do better? What do we need to do better? We have some examples. I talked about that subgrouping option. We used to have a 10-day process where we had 10 days of students selecting into rooms and things like that. We consolidated it down to 5, but expanded our hours, right? Less longevity on the students, a little longevity on us, but it's been well worth it. My understanding is that it used to be you got to walk to the hall that you wanted to live in and wait in line for, yeah, this is like, wait in line and wait to hear that James Hall was in fact booked. And you and I, that was like 1862, right? Okay. Okay, so yeah, we continue to improve. We continue to strive to find different ways to best meet the needs of our students in a variety of ways. All right, my last page, I promise. Student-centered approach to operations. So when we also just think about the entire operation of room selection, we do have some really unique populations that we work with. Substance-free, women's only, expanded GIH, again, great opportunity that we just continue to see grow each and every year. Honors, Margaret Boyd Scholars, LGBT GIH community, upper class. So we have upper class who are eligible to select into Hoover Hall earlier, right? Into those singles with the kitchen because they're not required to carry a meal plan. And then we were also able to offer Skyview this year to our upper class students. So we were really striving to find extra opportunities for our upper class students. 1804 scholars, athletes, Lynx, we're super excited about our partnership with Lynx. We're going into a solid pilot year next year that is focused on our first year students, but really hoping to expand that into a first and second year housing program next year, ROTC. So we work with all of these groups as well to help best meet the needs of those students along with our general population. Connections and opportunities. Meet Your Match was just like, we get a couple calls, they're not a lot, but we get a couple calls each year where students are like, I don't have anybody to room with. And we, over the course of time, developed a program called Meet Your Match. to basically provide an option for students to go find a roommate. So we do just a couple of programs. Every year we have like one suite that ends up like finding each other through this program, and they're super successful. So it's one of my favorites. We have open house. Again, I talked through that. It's a great opportunity. We offer, students can go see Convo. They can go see Tanaka. They can go see Brian, because not every student is going to get into the apartments this year or into the suite style spaces. We are going to have students who are selecting into Brian, into Voight Hall, into a variety of spaces. So we have lots of different options across campus for students to see ahead of time. Information sessions, and my favorite is cookies and conversation. So if students really find that they have a lot to say about our process and they really want to hash it out, we offer an open forum, kind of a focus group for us to best improve, for students to come in, and we provide cookies and just like talk through the process and how we can best meet their needs in the future.
Jonna, we've actually ran out of time. If it's possible, yeah, we have.
Yeah.
Is it possible so we can ask questions of you?
Yes, like that was it. So we're good.
Perfect. Questions, anyone?
Yeah, so I was an RA last semester, and
I was not pointing to you, Dylan, but okay.
with the capacity for housing for first years and with the size of the first year class this year, some of those doubles had to be turned. What accommodations have been made for those students for moving on to second year, and what will that look like? I know there's one River Park, so just overall, what is it like to have that class moving?
And that's exactly why we increased the spaces with River Park from 118 to 428. So we're super excited about that opportunity. Opening up Skyview spaces to the upper class students is another 30 beds that helps us out with that group. Where we find the biggest hitch is usually really with our first year students, and making sure that we have all of the accurate applications coming in as possible. And that's not the best way to say that, so I apologize. But basically, we have students who don't necessarily sign up for BSO and or housing, but we have these active contracts. So we have to make plans for those. So we are continuing to work with enrollment management to find the best solutions possible, just to continue to find best ways to fill in the gaps, right? So those are our current steps. Great question.
So this is a little bit more geared towards international students, and it's a specific situation that one of my friends who's an international student in Congress, she lives in an apartment complex off campus, but I imagine it's the same thing happens off campus. As international students, she would have higher, we have more serious consequences for what we consider like minor things. Like, for example, this like my friend, her roommate who's not an international student had to be in your room, which is not as big a deal for them, but for the international students, it is a big deal because they will get kicked out of the country. You know what I mean? So if that person like asking for left in the kitchen, asking for left in her bag, the other person's bag, whatever, these are like again a bigger risk. So my question is, what is being done? Like from your perspective, I'm sure you've heard about this before. How are you like encouraging international students, especially students who maybe come from a culture where it's not necessarily encouraged to make a fuss or like make big deal things and whatnot, and also because like you would want to say, oh, because like put international students and then you're segregating them from the American students, and you want to give them that integration. So how is stuff like that being?
So for the assignments piece specifically, I can tell you that we work with the individual programs and or the individual. So international students who are coming in assignment wise are able to select, and then they're also able to change rooms and work with us if they find themselves in a precarious situation that they don't feel comfortable with. And our team would work directly with that student to find a different option immediately, knowing the sensitivities, and for any student who found themselves with illegal substances within the residence halls. And some groups do choose to be together, and we work with the different administrators as they come through. So our Amani students historically choose to select into spaces together, which is the same opportunity we give to every student. So those are a variety of unique needs. I don't know if Janine had any more to add, but
I appreciate what you said. Behind your international students, they don't want to come forward and self-advocate, right? So we have a presence at International Student Scholarly Services Orientation, and we are hopeful to help support students in that advocacy and really open up a welcoming, inclusive environment where they feel comfortable reaching out. And even if it's something as simple as a room change, we can be helpful in facilitating that, but also reaching out to our in-house staff to identify spaces and roommates that will be that kind of welcome experience for all of us. So it's not a fixed system, we are always welcome and open to conversations, but I feel like we do a lot for our international students. We are looking at how we do programs specifically for our international students, very similar to the outlet, which was started by two of our graduate students or our BIPOC students. We are looking at creating similar gatherings for our international students where they can create that sense of comfort, connection, contribution, but also that confidence to self-advocate should they find themselves in a position where they're in a very uncomfortable situation. Hopefully that's helpful.
Yes.
great question.
We have question with time for one more question. Oh, yeah, y'all. Megan.
So you had mentioned being open to feedback, and I wanted, for myself, I'm currently a second-year student, and I was 50-50 about returning to residence hall next year versus living on campus. And I will say that what made me decide to live on campus was the randomized group selection. And so I was wondering if in the future there are plans to make different accommodations for upper class students that aren't required to live in residence hall and are looking to make.
At this moment, again, we did offer 29 or the 29 spaces in 31 South Court Street, which is a huge difference than what we have historically been able to offer. And then we've also always offered the Hoover spaces, those singles, which is what that upper class group was really looking for, as well as the kitchen to provide that opportunity. While we're excited and want to continue to help and support those who really want to live on campus with us, we do have a really huge focus on those who are required to live on campus with us. So as we consider and balance those, I think it's a conversation that is open every year and that we manage each and every year, but especially in times like this where, you know, when we have to say, like, we know this set of students have the opportunity to go explore other options around Athens, but this set of students are required to stay with us who have only had 1 year here on campus and things like that. We need to prioritize making sure that they have the selection opportunities that they need. But we do give our upper class students first options at Hoover and at 31 South Court Street.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, everybody. If you have any questions or concerns, please send me an email or anything like that, okay? Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Will the Chief of Staff please call roll?
President Shoulders,
Present.
Vice President Cooley,
Present.
Treasurer Robinson,
President.
Commissioner DeMonte, Senator Handel, Senator Core, Senator Phelps, Senator Thomas, Commissioner Barganer,
Present.
Senator McMullen,
Present.
Commissioner Hibbs, proxy, Commissioner Gordillo,
Present.
Senator Lopez, proxy, Commissioner Gillett,
Yes.
Senator Bacasio, Senator Rocca, Commissioner Parker, Senator Lightning, Senator Morris,
Present.
Senator Ayurvinde, Commissioner Zarbaugh, Senator Robinson, Commissioner Lewis,
Present.
Senator Tandon, Senator Farmer, Senator Davis, Senator Handel, or Commissioner Handel, sorry. Senator Spinner Smith, Senator Huntsman,
Present.
Senator Wolf, Commissioner Ajay, Executive Justice Siler.
Present.
We have quorum.
Thank you. Okay. Is there any discussion on the previous meeting minutes? Is there any objections to approving the previous meeting minutes? All right, seeing none, minutes are approved. Okay. Moving forward, we have one addition to the agenda tonight. That is Senate Resolution 2223-98. Is there any discussion on this addition to the agenda? Any discussion? Yeah.
I do have one point of inquiry. BBC Chicken did close down. Do you have a plan for that, or will that have to be like together?
Yes, we just found out about that this week.
Yeah.
And so we are working with that. Once we actually move into the discussion, if this was passed on the agenda, I was planning on discussing that further.
Okay, awesome.
Okay. Yep.
So I'm a little concerned about the cost of this event compared to the expected attendance. So historically, Senate events often do not attract 100 or more students without collaboration with other offices and organizations on campus. So I did a short breakdown and found that the budget as it stands, if 100 students attend this event, the cost would be $45.93 per person. If 200 students attend the event, the cost will be $22.97 per person. For reference, for the Safety Sacks budget, which will provide sacks full of items for 108 students at a cost of $22.14 per bag, which is not even an event contingent upon attendance, so we can ensure that each penny will be transferred to students for their benefit, is less than if per person if 200 students attended this lawful event. So I would just like to know if there has been an effort by the commission to estimate the attendance at this event, or to collaborate with other entities on campus, including the Office of Health Promotions, as this is an event, an alternative to the Fest event, and just gauge overall student interest.
So we are planning on collaborating with other offices, especially in the realm of advertising for this event, because we know how important it is to get the word spread across about this event. Though we're buying food for 100 people, it doesn't mean that we're capping it at 100 people or that there's any need. So people are able to come, and there will be enough food for more than 100 people. There are plenty of alternatives when it comes to the food, and though it can seem pricey, the biggest thing of this is that this is actually something that, probably is, it seems like a big number at first, but for an event of this size, it's actually, because we checked, I personally checked with 5 different vendors in the area. This was the cheapest that we could get it down to. And so there is that. And then also would like to remind that even though this does seem pricey, you did spend, I believe it was somewhere in the range of $15,000 to $16,000 in furniture last year. And so this is a fourth of that price. So.
What have you doing?
Yeah.
You said that you were partnering with offices. It's kind of a two-part question. So what offices have you actually been in communication with in collaboration, and is it in collaboration or in sponsorship of this event?
So we haven't reached out yet. So what we're actually doing is we're waiting on the passage of this, and then we're going to be starting the rollout. Where we have a list of basically where we can get the information out of. It's going to be both sponsorships and collaborations. The Office of Health was one of them because it is a diversion program. We are also going to be reaching out more to housing because this is going to be something that is on campus. We want to make sure that the word gets out, especially because there's going to be food that's not dining hall food. We think that's something that's going to really attract people. People need a way to get out, get away from the stresses of their life, and this is a way to do that.
Megan?
I'd like to add that given the fact that it's during Fest weekend and a lot of athletes are obviously banned from going to such events, I can get attendance up through my position, and athletics is, part of where we're getting a lot of our attendance from.
And even though this is a diversion event, it's not meant just to divert. And so that is something is that there are a lot of students on this campus who don't want to participate in that classic Fest activity. And so not everyone wants to do that. And so that's something that I think the university hasn't done in years past is help, because everyone, we've heard from many people, from the president to the mayor, talking about how the goal is to transition the entire, climate of this campus to something that's not centered so much as a party school. And this is one way to do that because it's helping transition, we're adding alternatives. And so if we're not adding alternatives to day drinking the whole day, we're not helping at all with that process.
Thank you. Dylan?
Yeah, so I just wanted to know if you have actually reached out to students in order to gauge if there is interest for this one.
Yes, we have reached out to students. We have not, it has not been in the way of email or surveys, it's been in face-to-face contact. And with every interaction that we have had with those individuals, for me personally, I've probably talked to at least 30 or 40 students on this, trying to gauge what they wanted. And one of the biggest things that I did ask on this was, what kind of prizes would you guys like to see? What would be most useful? Things like that. And also, so there were things on that. And so there was a lot of student input on this. But with every student that I told about this, it was only met with positive remarks, and there was a lot of excitement around it for a lot of different reasons.
If this were to be added to the agenda and if it were to be passed, I would just be careful with your verbiage internally and externally when we talk about the collaboration with offices if you have not received the confirmation, especially sponsorship, is because sponsorship is in the means of providing funds to collaborate on the event and not just a collaboration of putting their name on it. So I would just be careful with your verbiage when you're discussing the event.
Yeah, put information.
We're only seeking, and when I mean sponsorships, we're only looking for them to sponsor by saying this is going to be a great event to go to. We're not looking, if they want to pitch in, that is an option, but we're trying to make sure that we're not having to rely on anybody else for this. If they want to come and provide stuff, we're more than willing.
Point of inquiry. So you haven't reached out to anyone else to receive additional funds to your event?
We were not intending on that.
Okay.
So why is there a need for, why did you see a need for door prizes for the event?
So that was actually something that me and the co-sponsor of this bill, or secondary sponsor, sorry, Treasurer Robinson, that was something that we established was probably going to be a really good idea to not only get people to come, but get people to stay. And so what the plan is with that is that these prizes are going to be rolled out every half hour during the event. And so we're doing a raffle where every 30 minutes, we're drawing a name out of there. And so again, and that's just to keep it fair. We're not doing it as a competition. We don't really want to do that. We don't think that's the best way of going about it. So it's just going to be a raffle We're doing it every 30 minutes because if we did an hour, you know, that's a little bit too big of a gap. And but if it's 30 minutes, it keeps people engaged. There's also going to be plenty of stuff to do. So there is that as well.
Senator Bocasio.
I will say, I think OU is, when it comes to making OU not a party school or not just known for that, since the 80s, if not before, OU's kind of been known as the party school in Ohio. It was here, it was a party school in the mom was here in the 80s. It was the party school now. I think it's always going to be a party school and be known for that. I don't understand how having like another new event will make will change OU's reputation as a partner. It also does make OU stand out in that too.
Have you talked to Walter Fieldhouse at all, or anyone in charge of that regarding the Super Games vendor and whether or not that is allowed? Because if it isn't allowed, that could definitely change how people feel about this and also how much money is going towards this.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
The Super Games vendor, the $4,000. Have you talked to make sure that that is allowed in Walter Fieldhouse?
Yes, it is. So with this, the vendor that we're using, Super Games, they've actually done events exactly like this in Walter Fieldhouse, not to this, similar to this scale. They did it for RA Appreciation the year last year, and I believe that they're very well acquainted with this campus. They've done many events here, but they have also done events in Walter Fieldhouse.
But have you personally received confirmation that that is okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I've been in close communication with Campus and Recreation on this stuff, and they're aware of what we're doing, and there's plenty of space inside for it, and we're able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You said previously that you reach out to organizations. Do you have organizations in mind that you're planning for it, or is it something that you just want to go to the field and just reach out to the organizations? Do you believe that all the organizations that you will reach out to will steer that?
So, for the most part, we have made a list. Obviously, if anyone feels that there's an organization that should be added to the list, we're more than welcome to reach out to them. So we're going to first start with departments on campus. So we're going to be talking to culinary, we're going to be talking, like I said, we're going to be talking housing. We'll be reaching out to the athletic department, ROTC, the ones that they're more, not able to attend these things. They would be the ones that would probably be most directly. So obviously, first we're gonna get in contact, get them to, and I don't see a problem. It's something that's gonna benefit their, it's gonna directly benefit their students. It's not gonna be something I'm concerned about. For organizations outside, we have not made a list of outside organizations yet. That's something we can look into, but that's not something that we're shying away from. It's just we've only put our focus so far on certain departments right now, trying to just.
That was my big concern, is outside.
Yeah, we will be making that list. It just hasn't been. We are intending to do that as well.
Thank you.
I kind of have a two-pronged question that leads into one another. The first question that I have is, when are you planning on hosting this event? And the second question is, looking at the calendar-wise, it is March 1st. If we pass this to add it to the agenda, and if we discuss and we pass it to just fully pass the budget, it gets passed tonight. Earliest we can start things is tomorrow, March 2nd. Spring break is about 10-ish days away. Students are going to be not on campus. Students are going to be home. They're going to be not looking at their phones. They might be in other countries. They might be elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So looking at all of that, how long do you think reasonably we will be able to have to advertise this event in order to be able to attract more direct attention to it, especially if we haven't yet contacted any of those organizations who we are hoping will partner with us on this?
So the event, the date is, we've already got that set, and that's, their recreation's holding it. If this gets passed, it's getting put in right away. So it's March 25th from 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. And so that was the only date available. However, we're not concerned too greatly about the timeline because we think that there's plenty of time. What the plan is to do is we're going to first partially look at the dates. So we're going to do a small rollout prior to spring break of getting the word around, but the moment that they come back is when it's going to be the big getting word around and so forth. And I understand that there's a little bit of doubt that maybe these departments won't want to talk about or use this to reach out to students about, but there's no reason that they wouldn't, especially if it's passed. This is an event that would be able to benefit all students and something that everyone could go out to enjoy. And so I don't think administration is going to want to not talk about something that students can go out and enjoy. So that's why.
Good question. So, you said that you were going to do March 25th, which is a very short time because it's March 25th. How are you going to like network and like get the event out with like such short time? Like, are you going to be tabling? Are you like posters? Like,
so it's going to be a mix of posters. We're going to be doing digital slides with culinary as well as with housing. And almost all of the dorms, they have those TVs where they have the digital slides that are always going. It's going to get added to those. So that's going to be one of the things. Yes, there will be that. I have looked at tabling a little bit. I don't know how successful that would be for this event specifically. But we are looking at posters, we are looking at other options as well, like I said, the slides and so forth.
Has there been any thoughts of changing the location to somewhere else on campus or doing it somewhere else and not in that specific space? Because I believe that March 25th is a date that's coming really, really close, and next week is a midterms week. After that is spring break, and then the week after that is when your event is supposed to be. So I'm just worried about how it's going to actually advertise and actually gauge student attendance. Even if university offices, if you're planning on reaching out to them, it's only so much time they can push that out there within a given period.
Yeah, I think that's a general concern that's been asked. Lexi.
I know you mentioned the marketing on university TV. I'm not sure if you know, but most of those costs have like items per day. And I believe they're like $10 a day. So something does have extra budget, and I think the practice does like market for them and do it. And then secondly, based on how you described it, is it an individual event or is it a series?
It's just one event.
So how do you plan on, I would say, continuing your mission after the event to condemn the purpose of the event?
The goal is to turn this into a tradition within this commission. So with it is that, almost every commission has some sort of event that they're working with that they've been doing every year. I know, so for, the LGBTQ plus commission has Pride Week. That's something that's been going on for a few years now. Doesn't seem like that's going to be easing up anytime soon. And so and there's other commissions that have similar projects as well. And so this is just something to hope, there's no promise that I'm able to, but that's the goal. But also on top of that is that if this is successful, it's gonna, there's gonna want to be a desire to do it again.
Okay. Gillette, yeah. Sorry, I need to start saying everyone's names. My bad.
Okay, I think we're losing a little bit of perspective because I think that this is a good idea, and I don't think that, I don't think it is short notice, especially because yes, you have to plan all of these things after you get the budget, but when you throw a party, like if I'm gonna throw a party at my house, I need to know that I've paid my bills and have the money to pay for that party now. Then I can start inviting people, if that makes sense. And so I think that it is important that you first have your budget and you're like, okay, well, my budget got approved. And even like, okay, maybe you are asking, I don't remember the amount, but if you're asking for 400 and we have only approved 350, then you know, oh, well, the bounce house is excluded, but like the rest of the things. So you can't advertise for what you don't know will be approved, because maybe we decide, okay, like again, you have a bouncy house and a fire eater and a whatever, and everything but the bouncy house gets approved. Then you can't go around telling people that there will be a bouncy house. So you need the budget first. So I get that. And yes, it's a short amount of time, but it's not an impossible amount of time, because I can tell y'all I'm having a party tomorrow and you guys can come if it's a good party. You know what I mean? So yes, you do have like things that you have ducks that you need to get in a row, but I think the budget is an important duck to get the rest of the ducks in a row. And I think your like the way everyone is talking is like, oh, like I don't know, it just doesn't sound very supportive, because I think yes, you have a very short amount of time to get what you need to get done, but I think it's a feasible amount of time, as long as you're diligent with it. So that is my concept.
Thank you, Senator Bacasio.
We're going into a lot of details on this bill. Why don't we vote whether or not to put it onto the agenda first?
Yeah, I agree.
Then debate it after.
If it even gets on.
Let's see if it'll go on the agenda first, and then if it's on the agenda, then we'll go into the weeds on it. Let's just put it on the agenda, vote on putting it on the agenda first.
Thank you. I was going to say that after you spoke, so thank you. Is there a motion?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Oh, do I have to do all of that? Okay, well, yeah. It's been moved and seconded to add Senate Resolution 2223-98 to the agenda. We have to have a 2/3 vote for that to go onto the agenda. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions?
Abstain.
We might have to count.
We might need to.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna hand vote. Okay, we're gonna do that again. All those in favor, please say aye.
Please raise them high.
Raise your hand.
Raise them high.
This is, yes. Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, all those opposed, raise your hand. 1, 2. Okay. All right.
The ayes have it.
Okay, well, it's been added to the agenda. Awesome. Okay, we can move along. No new business, no old business. Well, yeah. Well, now we have new business. Now we have some business, y'all. This is the part you've been waiting for. Okay. Senate Resolution 2223-98, a resolution to purchase supplies and acquire space for the Bobcat Festival. Whereas the Ohio University Student Senate Rules and Procedures requires there to be a committee on the budget, and whereas the Committee on the Budget met with quorum to discuss the Ohio University Student Senate budget, and whereas the committee approved the budget below, and so be it resolved that the Ohio University Student Senate confirms the requested budget amount below. Item description: BBC chicken bites, $264, one quantity for a total of $264. Super Games vendor, 4 games, $3,650, one quantity for a total of $3,650. Mott's 40-pack fruit snacks, $7.24 for a quantity of 4 for a total of $28.96. Capri Sun 30-pack, price $8.98, quantity 3 for a total of $26.94. Great Value Water 40-pack, price $5.36, quantity 3, total $16.08. Variety chip bag 42 count, $19.48 for a quantity of 3 for a total of $58.44. Walter Fieldhouse rental, $329.50 for a quantity of 1 for a total of $329.50. Visa gift cards, $54.95 for a quantity of 2 for a total of $109.90. 9 cents? 90 cents. 90 cents. Burrito blanket, $26.99 for quantity of 1 for a total of $26.99. Echo Dot, $39.99 for a quantity of 1 for a total of $39.99. Chipotle gift card, price $25, quantity 1 for a total of $25. Exploding kitten cards, okay, $17.88 for a quantity of 1 for a total of $17.88 for a grand total of $4,593.68. Primary sponsor, Mr. Clay Lewis.
Yes, so even though there's already been a lot of discussion on this, our commission has been working on this for a little bit over a month now. There has been a lot of preparation that has been going into this. With this event, there are quite a few exciting pieces going into this. The first one being the vendor that we are going to be using for this event. We are going to be bringing in 4 pretty big games / inflatables. Not each is an inflatable, not each is a game, but each is a game, but not each is an inflatable. But it's all opportunities for students to come and, kind of relax, get away from school, get away from everything else, and is also an alternative to having to go out to fest. And so, yes, this is partially a diversion event. However, this is meant for all students and is encouraging them to be able to find new ways to enjoy time with their friends, and also providing a safe space for people who don't necessarily like going out to those events. So this is what this event is for. This is also something that me and my commission thought was overall something of importance as a way for not only our commission, but as Senate to be able to give back to the students. And so this is something that's been very important to us. Everything on here is, we found was to the cheapest price that we could. Obviously, the one exception to this that will be amended is going to be BBC Chicken. We did not know until very last minute that they have unfortunately closed, or today was their last day. Very sad, but we will be looking at different options. But everything else on there is still accurate, to the best of my knowledge.
Thank you. Secondary sponsor, Ms. Trinity Robinson.
As Commissioner Lewis stated, this event is intended to create an additional interactive option for students who do not want to partake in various late night activities. The budget displayed reflects the cost of the event and various rental items. I do want to be transparent and say, because this is an addition to the agenda, this was not reviewed by Budget Committee. This was sent directly to the Judicial Panel. I reserve the balance of my time.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on this resolution?
I think the most important question here is what timeline do you have to for the Super Games? How long in advance can you cancel? Let's just say the event doesn't happen for whatever reason outside of people not attending, because we can't account for that except on the date, right? For the thing that costs the most, which is $3,000, which is the Super Game event, do they let you cancel right under the day before? Do you have maybe 2 weeks in advance or 2 days in advance or whatever that you have to cancel? Because then that makes a big difference, right? Because if we approve this right now and it rains and I don't know, there's a hurricane and you can't have it, and they agree to return the money, then there's a no loss. Then it's not a gamble. We're not wasting money. So I think that's a big question to answer. Also, will you guys have music? Because I don't see a DJ on the stage. Those are my
So first of all, yes, there will be music. It is part of the Walter Fieldhouse rental. There's a few things that are bundled into that. That's just the overall, that was the overall price for that. So for the Walter Fieldhouse rental, that includes tables, chairs, and the sound system. That's all provided by Campus Recreation. When you're going in for that rental package, those are options, and that was stuff that we opted in for, so that people can be said, yes, there will be music. We aren't having a DJ, however, we're going to be providing music. And so, yeah, we have that. And then, so for your first question, though, I don't know the exact policy, so I would have to get back to you on that. However, I will say that we have not, no money has been put toward it yet. And so I can find out that information. And if I find out that there's going to be some sort of, gimmick to where even if we put all of this down and we're not able to get any of that back, then we're going to have a different conversation with that vendor. So I'm going to respect I respect the Senate's money, and I want to make sure that every dollar is going towards a good cause. And so if there's a risk of that money disappearing, I'm not going to let that happen.
Thank you.
Can I submit an inquiry?
Yes.
Is it possible for him to just Google that now? Because I feel like that's
Go for it.
relevant to the
Conversation.
Yeah. Could you check there? Yeah, they may or may not have it on the website.
It's not on the website. I've been looking at it.
I was about to say.
Thank you, Carson.
This is a local type of organization. This is not a big corporate one. So, but
I appreciate you.
so what I can do though is, so I have been in contact with the liaison that they've got kind of project managers for everything. And the person that I have, his name's Tim. I can reach out to him, and I could get you an answer by tomorrow evening on that.
We have to vote today. Thank you,
I know.
Commissioner.
To confirm with us, there's one Peter Robinson, this was not by budget.
No, it was not. It was sent directly to the judicial panel.
You said point of inquiry?
Yes. So there is a reason for that.
That's point of information.
Oh, is it?
Go for it.
Very sorry. So there was a reason for that. It was not able to make it through the budget committee because of the timeliness of this. We had to move with some speed so that we could get all of the reservations that we needed, especially for the vendor. And so that is why, and so I did discuss with Emily, or Executive Justice Seiler. I did discuss directly with them as well, and with me, Executive Justice Seiler, as well as Treasurer Robinson, decided that it was probably best to move it through that way so that we could secure everything. Though I will say that me and Treasurer Robinson did spend a good amount of time looking over everything and making sure that it was all solid.
Perfect.
Point of information.
Yes.
The time that we spent was used to review this budget before it was sent to judicial panel. The adding of the items and review of the items in general was done within the University Life Commission.
Yes.
Just in case anyone's wondering, anything under the budget committee can be brought to the Senate floor as stated in the rules of procedures. So things such as this is okay because you all voted to pass.
Correct. Correct.
So I first want to say, like, this is a good thing. I don't want you to think that, I don't think that it's not. I just personally feel like we're spending a lot of money in like a short period of time. Like, I just say, like, I know when I'm doing my weekend, I'll be working, so I can't go to this event. So, like, I just feel like for a short period of time, maybe like pushing it back to like a later event so other people can come, as well as like you can get a better turnout for like your money is well spent. I also feel like, yeah, that was like mainly my point. Just making sure like we're spending a lot of money and, you know,
Thank you.
Like Commissioner Parker, I also really like the idea of this event. It is mainly just the timing concerns that I am struggling to see from a logistics standpoint. Even coming from somebody who works in a center on this campus and runs their social media accounts, I have a very strategic schedule as far as when I'm posting things, when I'm going to be making those things, am I getting those things from somebody else? All of that stuff goes into my stuff. And so usually things are planned out at least a month in advance. As far as when I'm going to be posting things, if they get posted, is there going to be story shares? all of that stuff gets factored in because I only work so many times. Most of these offices are having their social medias ran by either admin who are doing very busy things with their time with other jobs, other duties and stuff like that, or they're being run by students who work 10 hours a week maybe. And so there's limited time frames for that. And given that we haven't even reached out to them, and emails can sometimes take a few days to get into contact, spring break is coming up, so people will be off work for a little bit. I just have concerns from an advertising standpoint, and I know for me, this event seems very similar to Party at Ping, and I know at least my freshman year, perhaps it has changed in the subsequent years since then, there was honestly pretty low turnout at Party at Ping, unless you were taken there directly by your RA, and then even then, a lot of people dispersed pretty quickly.
I think my main concern is your commission's capacity to run this event the day of. I mean, you would have to have, that's going to be, if you expect more people to be there, that's going to be a lot of people. And since I haven't heard any other commission that was asked to collaborate on this, I'm a little concerned about your all's ability to make sure that you're supported in this. Obviously, we would want to support you in this. So if this does get passed, right? So if this does get passed, I would recommend that you reach out to other commissions and make sure that people can help you if needed. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
I think my biggest, or not, I'm involved with this high school again because I'm one of the people who don't enjoy going out. But my only concern is the amount of time you have. You seem to have a pretty loose idea of what you want to do, but with spring break coming up, not only spring break, but that falls right after the school's moms or moms weekend. I guess what I'm looking for if this budget was to be passed, what would be your game plan to get it rolling out and to have the support and logistics that you need to run an event of this kind?
With the Walter Fieldhouse rental, does that include event services staff that would be on site to help you all with this, or would it just be you get the place and you just get to do whatever?
So I was going to mention that. So my commission is not the only people that are going to be there helping run this event. So as well as my commission, there are going to be event staff from both the vendor as well as event services on campus, and that's going to include members of both Walter Fieldhouse and also Ping. They're going to be taking people from both because I don't know about Walter Fieldhouse, but I do know that almost every worker that is at Ping is first aid certified. So I wanted to be sure there were a couple people there over there. Not that any of these events show any real danger, but people are running around or something and twist an ankle, something like that. But there will be other members of staff there, and so I was planning on mentioning that. Yes. So thank you for mentioning that. There will be plenty of other people there.
We're going to wrap up discussion soon.
Point of inquiry for that. So with you confirming that you have staff working this, with that, there are contracts. And based on the price of the field house rental for $329.50, I know that does not include the price of paying these employees. That is not free. And it's not included with event services. It's not included with the the staff at Ping. That is not included. So how are you actually accounting for that instead of just saying that they're going to be working the event?
To the best of my knowledge, that is actually included into that. I was sent an itemized list of what goes into that cost, and for the life of me, of course, I cannot find it at this moment, but I do know that was put into the cost.
I need to forward that to me when you find it.
Okay.
This is more out of curiosity, just because I've been looking at the website. What 4 games are you getting, and is this like a combo pack that's on the website? Is this just like 4 games you picked out on your own? Like where, and then how did this all come together and what games are you using? Because there's absolutely no pricing or any combos on the website.
So, yes, their website is a little bit tricky to navigate. Sadly, I was not able to do anything there. But so how it works is that you send, so with this vendor specifically, because this was the one we chose, you submit a ticket of interest, basically saying, hey, we're looking to do an event. They have someone reach out to you. And then when they reach out to you, they send you a catalog with every single game that they have. You're able to go through it. And they do also have that on their website somewhere. They don't have the catalog, but they do have your games. It's just hard to navigate the website. It took a good little bit to figure that out as well. So they do have all of that, and they do also have it categorized by age groups. And they had it specific. The games that we chose from are the ones that they find that are most popular, centered towards college-age kids. And so from that, we took that catalog, we took the games that they said were most popular based off of what they've experienced at other campuses, and we chose 4 games off of that. And so the 4 games, and let me get that pulled up real quick. Right off the bat, I do know that one of those games is, it's a 9-hole LED mini golf. Another one is,
Yeah, you should have started with the games.
right, sorry for that. So another one is the inflatable Super Bubble Soccer, which is basically the
Human
giant
hammer
booster balls
balls.
that people are in. And so that's a very popular one. And then another one is 4-man joust, which is one of the inflatables. On that, it's where you're basically 4 people standing on the inflatables. They have giant inflatable sticks, basically. They look like giant erasers, and you're just trying to knock people off. And then after that is meltdown, is what they call it, and that's another popular one where there's the 2 different types of rods. It's all inflatable, but inflatable rods that are spinning. You have to jump, crouch, and do that in order to not be hit. It's one that was also very popular. It's also probably the one that has the biggest internet presence out of any of those games as well.
Cool.
No.
Yeah. Do we? Yes.
We definitely beat the horse bloody to death this time. However, I would want to say that I want to thank Treasurer Robinson for saying that this was not gone through the budget committee, because I was thinking, did I miss a meeting? Like, what's going on? And so I think that since all the other events that we've had and that we paid for have gone through the budget committee, it's kind of frustrating from my personal view that this was not run through the budget committee. So I think that's just something I need to for that.
Can I counter something? Is that allowed, or it's not my point?
I wouldn't, only because unless it's directed towards the event, I'd rather keep
No,
the.
yeah, it is directed towards it. I just want to say that here's why I'm going to vote yes on this. Because I don't think, if this fails, there are 2 ways this fails. One is you don't get things done in time, in which case you don't spend money because it's not going to happen. Or 2, people don't come, which is not your fault, and it's not our place to be like, well, your event's going to fail, and that's why we're not going to spend money. And then 3, I don't necessarily think it's my place as international commissioner that has never been in one of your meetings to say whether or not, like, if you think that this timeline works for you, then I assume that you are good enough at your job to have done the work to say that you can get this done in the time that you said you're getting it done. So from that perspective, that's like, I'm going to have faith in my fellow senator and say that gets done in that time.
I appreciate your discussion. Again.
Point of information on advertising, I can speak directly for my constituency base. I'm a member of the Student Athlete Advisory Council, and I can send one a message, and I will have access to representatives of every athletic team, and then that will then tree off into group messages for every athletic team on campus, which will require no advertising time, no emails. So that is a big constituency base that we don't have to worry about the advertising time.
Thank you. Just these last 2. just have to move to both like everything else.
That seems as though possible
You have to
immunity
ask.
is possible.
Mm.
So I would like to know if that has been cleared, if you're legally liable, or if something happens, like I am personally, I'm very fragile. I break walking. I will break something.
We've had events with the
I-
wall climbing thing before, so.
Haven't.
Sorry.
Yeah. Last discussion, please.
So first, I'm going to respond to your question. We have not passed it through legal, however, as they were saying, we have done events with the exact same vendor, doing the exact same thing, and the exact same situations, and they've all been cleared. There, I can reach out and we can see. However, there is no concern or any major concern for that. So to answer that, no, we have not. However, based off of what administration has done in the past, it's the exact same thing. So I don't see any concern on that part. And so lastly, I would like to address everyone with this. And so what I've heard concerns, and I respect all of these concerns. The largest of these that I'm hearing is that we don't have enough time to do this, and that some are concerned with my commission's ability in order to get this event done. And so with that, I ask that you guys put your faith in me and that allow me to prove to you guys that we can get this event done, because you all may not have full confidence in me, but I have full confidence in my commission members in order to get this done. And we have worked insanely hard on this, and I think that it is important to mention as well that none of you all, even though we're just presenting this tonight, and even though it's not gone the conventional way of getting approved, that this is still something that we have worked very hard on and have put a lot of thought into. And so this is something that we are extremely anxious to get past. And we have a rollout plan. It is just simply, we were waiting till we had all our ducks in order until we started rolling out everything, because there was no sense in rolling out anything and starting to advertise if we didn't know what we were advertising for first. So please put your faith in us and let us prove that we are capable as a commission, as a team, and as a Senate to get this event done.
Okay. Is there any motion?
I move to vote.
It's been moved and seconded to vote on Senate Resolution 2223-98. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay.
Nay.
Any abstentions?
Abstain.
Okay, let's vote again. Yes. All those in favor, raise your hand. Aye. All those opposed?
Keep them up.
Abstentions?
Yeas are 11 and nays are 13 abstains.
We have to vote again? No, actually, no, we're good. Okay, well, resolution does not pass. All right, next. Commission reports. Of course.
Hello everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed your warm day once again. A few updates from me. Currently, our commission is focusing on increasing opportunities for student engagement. So I did have Senator McMullen and our intern meet in order to decide what some opportunities for that would look like. So I'm excited to see what they present with us at our next commission meeting. I also recently spoke with Dr. Salome Normali today, who's the Vice President of Diversity and Inclusion, and she gave me a few updates. Some of them I'm not able to disclose right now, but we do have somebody coming in diversity and inclusion, and he's coming into the Assistant Director of Multicultural Student Programming. And I'm very excited to see what he is going to do in that role. And then I also had a meeting with Commissioner Parker today about possible collaboration with Minority Affairs Commission. So I should have more news about that in the coming weeks. With that, I reserve that some time.
Thank you.
It's long, sorry. Happy Women's History Month. So true. Okay, for the period project, I met with Carly, the president's chief of staff, on Monday, and we created the RFP and submitted it to the higher OU people, so that's very exciting. If not the week after spring break, then 2 weeks after we get back, we will be choosing our vendor. It will probably be AntFlow. But then by this summer, we should be doing the first round of installations. And the entire project has an end date that there will be dispensers or display boxes in every single bathroom, women's, men's, gender neutral, by summer of 2028. They said they are willing to foot $50,000 to $70,000 per year for 4 to 5 years to make sure they get put in every bathroom, which is very, very exciting. Last night, I had the opportunity to present to GSS about our bill, and it went very well. They said that they were all very, very proud of us and gave us lots of encouraging messages and asked how they could support this initiative. So now they are passing the same bill that we passed through their Senate as well to show their support.
Yeah.
I'm also doing an interview with the Post tomorrow and with the New Political on Friday to talk more about our project so more students across campus can hear about it. For Women's History Month, we are doing a collab with Alden Archives, and Nagling has another meeting with them soon. We're also collabing with multicultural orgs, like I've talked about, for a tabling event and a women's mixer. And then Kennedy is planning a social event for a wrap-up for the month. We want to focus on how we can best highlight academic works and pieces of art women on campus has created. So she's been doing a lot of talking to WGSS professors, and she's also founding Intersectional Women's Group on campus to perform for the events. For International Women's Day, this is 1 week from today, it's next Wednesday, we'll be collabing with PR Director Sarver, doing a little social media blast. So we're going to do a little highlight on all the women of Senate, the cool stuff we're doing in here, but also all across campus. And we actually already have some International Women's Day merch, I guess, in the Senate office. We have banners and little signs and stuff. So we'll bring the banner here, get a picture of all of us ladies, and then hopefully take pictures whenever people are in office with the signs so we can use that for our Insta posts. For the yoga meditation night, Chanel has been in contact with people to run the event, to be the instructors, and has lots of great ideas about handouts and the general vibe. She has a really, really cool Pinterest board. And so all that's left to do is to set a date once she hears back from the instructor we want and to submit our budget. For Safe Stacks, Trinity and I went over budget stuff this week, and the stuff should be purchased in the next couple of days. Some people have had questions about the distribution process. So what we're going to do is have like a laminated checklist on a clipboard and then an expo marker so we can hand it across and they don't have to say anything about what they want, because there's a stigma around some of those items and people might feel embarrassed to say it out loud. And then they can check off what they want us to put in their sack. And then we're going to have examples of the items on the table and also information cards about each item. So people will know that, like, if you weigh over 165 pounds, Plan B is significantly less effective. People will know what a dental dam is, so they know what they're asking for when they check the list and know how it can be of use to them. We're also going to be doing an Instagram story takeover for the process of crafting the bags, what can be included, and how the building process and tabling event will go. Take Back the Night is April 6th at 6:30 p.m. with speakers starting at 7, and it's at the Athena Cinema. There's no room for a traditional resource fair like we did last year, so we will be tabling at the top of Baker the week of to hand out resources like we did last year. And then our last meeting for it was canceled, but we're having weekly meetings up until the event at this point, and we have another meeting on the 9th, so I'll have more info soon. And finally, I would not be doing my due diligence as a big sister if I didn't say happy birthday, Kate. Senator Handel. Yeah, that's the end of my report.
So as for members of our commission, Vice Commissioner Beam has been looking over survey data and advising standards to
to prepare for our survey analysis session on Thursday evening. Senator Thomas has been continuing to provide guidance to constituents in Patton College from her office. She also has a UPEP meeting with Patton College student leaders next Tuesday, and she will attend our visit to MSBC on Monday. Senator Handel is planning a visit to Exercise Physiology Club as well as Nutrition Club to connect with students in the CHSP. She is also looking into self-care handouts for the Finals Fest. Senator Accor has been preparing for our meeting with the Dean of Arts and Sciences and looking over survey results. Senator Phelps and I had a very productive meeting today to discuss his ideas for promotion of the resources available to HTC students. We also touched on the idea of, in admissions, making sure that students know about the opportunities available to them in HTC, especially the scholarships. Student organization visits. So the Instagram feature for the ACLU student group was posted today. Thank you, PR Director, as well as Director of Social Media. Our commission has planned visits to the Society of Athens Preservation on Friday at 5 p.m. in Ellis Hall, and to the Multicultural Student Business Caucus on Monday at 6 p.m. in Copeland Hall. If you would like to come along with me and talk to some of your constituents, please reach out to me and I'll give you the times and where to meet. We will extend, of course, the opportunity to each of these organizations to be featured on our social media. Finals Fest. All right, so reminder that the date for the event is April 29th, 4 to 7 p.m. on the 3rd floor of Baker. Here are the organizational and faculty collaborations for the event so far. So we have Rinda from CPS bringing her therapy dogs, Doug and Penny. The Alden Library Events Coordinator will provide an activity and promotion for the Finals by Alden schedule. We will also be included on their Finals by Alden schedule promotion. The OU Alumni Association will be holding a graduation cap decorating station as part of their senior engagement events. We are still discussing handouts and resources we can provide with students. I am still getting in contact with the AAC to discuss what academic resources we can provide. The budget for food has been updated due to the unfortunate shutdown of BBC Chicken and Waffles. We're also sad. So we decided the next easiest and cost-effective option would be Jimmy John's sandwiches. We do plan to do a variety of sandwiches, also assorted cookies as food for the event. I'm happy to say that we still are able to support a local business by getting our cookies from Fluff Bakery, and they will be able to provide gluten-free and vegan options as well. And we will have the budget for the event submitted before spring break, which will give us an entire month of April to purchase items and to do promotion for the event. Graduate Student Senate meeting, there was a discussion with Letitia Price, who discussed the work of the Women's Center, as well as diversity inclusion updates. Presentation by Commissioner Handel to explain the implementation of the free period products. Update on GradCon. The event will occur on March 31st. Registration is due March 15th. This event is for graduate students with leadership and development talks, graduate life workshops, and research presentations by students. The Academic Wellbeing Survey closed on Sunday. We received over 340 responses, many of which have good insights into the students' needs and experiences. I have compiled a preview report over the weekend for the commission, as well as the executive offers to receive pertinent information prior to creating our presentation. We will meet as a commission to discuss and analyze these responses on Thursday evening at 6. If anyone would like to join to read some of your constituents' responses, please come along. We'll be in the Senate office. My goal is to form at least 5 action items for March and April, which will be directly informed by the survey responses. Also, raffle winners were contacted yesterday via commission email. And we have a new initiative, First Year Student Preparedness. So as our first step, Commissioner Barganer and I will meet with the Learning Community Coordinator next Wednesday to discuss the implementation of more effective diversity inclusion training, especially communicating across differences for first-year students, and possibly a module on time management to help decrease future burnout. And that is the end of my report.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. So Indonesian night is this Sunday from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. in Baker Ballroom. And if you guys are not following them on Instagram, you should, because the food looks amazing. So I definitely encourage you guys to go. The food looks like it's going to be worth it. And we did our first tabling event today for the international snacks, and it was a success. All the snacks went within the hour, and we had both international students and local students taking snacks. And it was very interesting because, you know, some students had like hesitations and like, oh, I don't know if this is spicy, I don't know if whatever. But it was really, really encouraging to see students overcome that hesitation, and they're like, oh, I'll try it anyways. And so that was really encouraging, and it makes me feel like, yes, people will be buying these products from Jeff Market. And I did have some people say, oh, I saw this in Jeff Market, or like, oh, I saw they increased. So we did Latin American snacks today, but some people told me, oh, we see more Asian snacks. So like, yes, like we're already getting visibility. We're already, you know, getting student feedback that it is like the students are noticing and they're, you know, enjoying it. So that was very exciting that it was successful, and we will be doing one for Asian snacks in the coming weeks. I'm hoping to maybe do the budget next week and then do it after spring break. And so we also had a QR code at the tabling event so that I could get student feedback. So we had the QR code at the international dinner that just passed. We had the code at the tabling, and we will have the code at Indonesian night. And the point of this code is so that international students can send me feedback specifically for my DC trip, so that I know what the concerns are and I can bring them up for the DC trip. So that is the end of my report.
Thank you. You can.
And our commission meetings will officially be every Monday at 7 office. We had one last Monday, and we discussed like the plans for the rest of the semester. So I'm going to try to set up a meeting with Jen and housing and try to find the best people to contact about everything that we have concerns about. Some of those things were just kind of getting more information on RA training, specifically like RA mediation methods, communication with your husbands, and then also communication with students and housing. So what issues and how students kind of work through housing and not just have a direct line to facilities and maybe not get the answers now. And then also housing completed all the tabling and posted the survey, so regarding the housing master plan, so hopefully all the meetings soon to discuss the feedback that they got regarding
Hold on. Well, did you have a report? All the way down. Yeah. Like here, let's just like, yeah, since we're already right there, and then we can move down.
No, nothing.
Okay then.
Hi everyone, so it's now March, which means our disability awareness month are showing a good month of first, showing pretty cool. Please come out and show up if you know anyone that may benefit from this discussion. We will have a town hall afterwards. Our commission plans to go to a disability awareness march on Friday, December 24th. Other than that, some of our commission attended the town hall. We did not on Monday and plan to lab like Commissioner Burke said up in this room. Lastly, our cultural care fashion show is happening on April 2nd, so please continue to sign up if you want to.
Thank you.
So, not a lot of new updates, still continuing to author the University Holiday Bill. I've reached out to the campus Democrats, and I'm still awaiting a response. Moreover, I've started to create presentations for when I plan to visit the campus Republicans and Democrats, talk about our University Holiday Bill. I'm hoping to make these presentations and visits very fruitful. So I'm putting a lot of effort into creating these presentations, so that way we can garner their support, not put pressure on the university in order for us to complete our goal of getting a day off on election day. And this is my report.
Thank you.
So, the 6th of February, so Sunday, Ted, Monday meeting, where we received the drop cases, not for this one, since the inauguration coming up on the 6 months.
Thank you.
So this is on behalf of Commissioner Hibbs. He says we are still working on having a tabling session to encourage more students to take our survey. The Sustainability Network kickoff event is set to be at 29 Park Place at the Academic Engagement Center. I'm hoping to find a date soon, as well as arrange for the network's logo to be put up on TVs in Baker Center in the coming weeks. We've been thinking about possibly holding the Athens Farmers Market at Tailgate Park at 2 p.m. on April 13th. When students will be walking back to the Student Expo on the same day. We're also continuing to work on looking for data concerning public transportation on campus, as well as looking into River Park's recycling guidelines. And that's the end of this report.
Thank you.
Faith and I met today to discuss Pride Week and logistics. Unfortunately, because of the Commission's decreased capacity, Pride Week will be a much smaller event this year. Sadly, the Queer Artist and Small Business Pop-Up is not logistically feasible at this point in time. Additionally, while we have been reaching out to potential speakers, we have not been successful in hearing back from anyone who can and is willing to be a speaker regarding trans history and /or trans misogyny. That's all the bad news. However, our collaboration with UPC on a drag show is confirmed for Wednesday, March 22nd. I believe Monique Hart will be the main performer, although I do have to double check with UPC because I may have misheard. Students will also be performing at that, as they did at the drag show that UPC hosted earlier on this semester. Vice Commissioner Laughlin and I will be tabling on behalf of Senate at that event. We are also planning a queer craft social as a more relaxed event in contrast to the drag show. That's going to be Friday, March 24th between 4 to 7 p.m. in Baker Center 366. And we will be using supplies that both Student Senate and the LGBT Center already have. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you. Any other commission reports? Senate committee reports? VP.
I have two tonight. Firstly, for the Leadership Development Committee, the budget for the Washington, D.C. Networking and Advocacy trip has officially been submitted. It is high, I will say that, but I have done my due diligence to keep it as cheap as possible, and we do have other funding that isn't specifically just the Senate budget that we have for our events and things like that. I will go into more description about all of that next week when we vote on that legislation, pending budget committee's approval of it. Doubly exciting, the prediction for peak bloom of the cherry blossoms came out today, and Senate will be there during the peak bloom. So be on the lookout for our amazing photos from the Capitol as we engage in advocacy and networking with our alumni. I'm now finalizing our meetings with representatives and alumni, and I'm working on finalizing the itinerary as well. We also have confirmed dates and times for our leadership development trainings. They will be March 20th from 6 to 7 in Walter Hall 245, and also April 14th from 2 to 3 in Walter Hall 235. I'm going to say those again. They will be March 20th from 6 to 7 p.m. in Walter Hall 245, and also April 14th from 2 to 3 p.m. in Walter Hall 235. Please mark these on your calendar. We want to see as many of you there as possible. As long as you don't miss classes for these. But other than that, please be there if you can. Those will obviously be in the minutes, and then we'll also be sending out some emails once we have the specific topics confirmed for each of those. And that's the end of my report for Leadership Development Committee. For my last Student Trustee Selection Committee report, I'm very excited to announce that the committee met last weekend and decided on 4 finalists to forward to the governor's office. All of those applicants have been notified, and the final student trustee decision will be announced at the Leadership Awards being held in Baker Ballroom on April 19th at 6 p.m. So if you want to know who the new trustee is, you should go to the Leadership Awards and help support your fellow students. And that's the end of my report.
Any other Senate committee reports? All right. University committee reports.
Sure. The courses residing within the voice music major and school music have been expedited. The College of Business are suspending the financial planning certificate due to low attendance, as well as the pre-business major, and then in patent we're doing the same for psychology and the consumer science.
Thank you.
Within the post-publishing committee, we had 3 of like the candidates come in, present their plan, and kind of ask questions. After discussion, the new editor-in-chief was named, and it's going to be Katie Millard. Her term will start in May.
Thank you. Okay, I am going to read off everyone who is a part of a university committee. Okay, do you think that will be helpful? Okay. So I sit on the Committee on Committees, which will be meeting tomorrow to discuss all of these committees. Y'all, so yeah, that's my life. And so here we go. Brady Phelps, you are on our honorary degree committee. Reagan, you are on our intercollegiate athletics committee. Awesome. They're not here, they're not here. Chenille, you are part of our library committee. Okay. Carson, post-publishing board. Perfect. Isaac, you are on our sorority and fraternity life committee. Okay. Awesome. Sounds great. And I sit on our student code of conduct review and standards committee with Kathy. And Caleb Keachel and Caden Hibbs sit on our transportation and parking committee. And our university curriculum council has Lexi and Luke on that as well. But however, we have openings for 1, 2, 3 other students from the Academic Affairs Commission that can be on there. So please let me know. Sounds great. And then Janine, you're a part of the University International Committee. Okay. Tomorrow I will be at the Committee on Committees meeting. I will bringing up the fact that some of these meetings haven't happened or students are a little confused on what they should be knowing about these committees. If there are any questions about being a part of a university committee or there is no report, I would like to start hearing that there's no report so I don't just assume that you aren't attending, because there is no way right now for me to know if you're attending, but we're gonna find a way. So, all right. If there's any other questions about that, please talk to me after this meeting or send me an email or find me in the office. I will be there tomorrow and Friday. Okay, we can go on. Okay, President's Board. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for all your discussion today. I really appreciate it. I did say at the beginning of the year we were going to start talking a lot more to each other, did I not? And I did know that this was going to happen, and I do appreciate all of you for speaking on speaking during discussion. I think one thing we all need to keep in mind is that we are a collective body that is trying to help us all move forward. And so your questions should always have intent behind them to dig towards the greater purpose and greater meaning of what people are trying to do. And honestly, ask in a way that represents your commission as well. I think sometimes we want to jump in and say, I think this is right and this is wrong. However, we have to recognize that we are representing other people. And I heard a lot of, I think. Let's just keep that in mind. However, I am very excited. The weather was nice today, and I love seeing you all in the office. Please remember that the office is also a space for you all to collaborate. So there's a lot of amazing things that are happening in each of our commissions, and I would love to see even more collaboration amongst our commissions in the future. And I know there's a lot that will be coming up next. Also, please know that if there's an event that you want to do that might not be passed through here, there are always other things that we can do. And if there is any way that I can help connect you to anyone on campus that will be able to help make your event a reality or a project that you want to do start, even if you might not be able to finish that within this semester, please let me know. I really, really, really want to help you all represent your committees or your commissions and your position very well. So if there's anything I can do for you, please let me know. Today, I met with our first presidential candidate, and that was very exciting. We had a great time. I was there with Chief of Staff Pennington and Commissioner, why am I blanking on your last name, Dylan? DeMonte, my bad. Sorry, it's getting late, y'all. I did not expect us to be here this long. But however, I was very excited for that conversation. I did invite other students of Senate. If you cannot make those times, if you got an invite to be a part of those lunches, please let me know so that I can reallocate that opportunity to other members of Senate. I really want as many student senators to be able to be there and ask questions with the presidential candidates as possible. So if you cannot make the time, which I believe is 12 to 1, on those 2 days that the next presidential candidates will be here, which is next week, please let me know so I can let our David Moore, who is the person who is the secretary for the Board of Trustees, that he can send different invites to other students. And that's the end of my report.
Hello, everyone, and good evening. I hope you all had the opportunity to enjoy the beautiful weather today. I know I did some studying outside this morning and early afternoon, so it was really nice. I really valued your feedback in our last performance evaluation, and I wanted to let you all know that I am taking your feedback to heart. To that point, I wanted to let you know for transparency that I will be attending some more campus events as my schedule and thesis workload allows. I had the pleasure of being able to attend the international dinner on Saturday with other members of Senate. And as long as you aren't graduating this year, I strongly encourage you to go in future years. I had a lot of fun. I got to try a lot of delicious food that I'd never heard of before. And I got to see lots of performances from different countries around the world. It was really a great time to interact with a lot of students who you might not necessarily get the chance to interact with on campus. So it was really good experience. Highly recommend. I will also be attending a meeting of the Society of Athens Preservation on Friday with Commissioner DeMonte. And then additionally, to go off of President Shoulder's last point regarding the next presidential search, in case you all didn't know, there are engagement forums planned, which are, so sorry y'all, I need to bring this up. They will be included in the minutes. I believe they are 2 to 3 p.m. Across the board. They are held in Baker Theater. They are also live streamed as well if you cannot be in person, but you do want to have questions you want to ask them. This is a great time for you all to get the chance to be exposed to these candidates, to provide you feedback. There's a feedback form that the Board of Trustees will be looking at when they make their final decision from all of those forums. So if you can go, please, I highly encourage you to go.
Tuesday and Wednesday.
Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. Thank you. They are Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. So if you can go, please go, or at least join in on the live stream. It's a great chance to get to hear from some of the candidates. I know I got to hear a little bit from Dr. Rivera Mills today, and I was really impressed, and I know the next 2 candidates will also be quite impressive as well. So make sure you do that, and with that, that is the end of my report.
Is relatively short tonight. So speaking on semesterly funding, the application is now open. The application will be open from today, March 1st to April 14th at 5:00 p.m. There will be a semesterly funding workshop on the Monday, March the 6th from 11 a.m. to 1. Semesterly funding is a funding cycle that gives student organizations the ability to apply for a large year funding and a great deal of programming for the fall 23 semester. So unlike biweekly funding, there is a cap of $1,500. However, with semesterly funding, there is no cap. And then we can go to the number screen. I want to give you all some more background for those who may not know on the different types of accounts that we have. So for our Senate total, that is our internal Senate budget. So this is the fund that we use to purchase items for various budget resolutions you all see, and additionally the different allocations we have for Take a Tampon, Leave a Tampon, Take Back the Night, Pride Week, and more. For SPOT, that is comprised of a combination of student fees that are allocated to student organizations. This is for programming for students and to directly give back to the student body among different groups on campus. And that's every student organization that we have here currently. And we also fund our branch campuses as well. For the U Fund, that is intended for the same purpose. However, it consists of fines and judiciary fees that are not charged anymore, that used to be charged. So because those are not being charged anymore, that is why the amount just continues to get lower and lower. So with the numbers, oh, and the SAP total is just the combination of the spot and the youth fund. So it's just those two numbers added together. For our Senate total, we have $39,747.24. For allocated not spent, $12,558.30. Not allocated nor spent, $27,188.94. For our SAP total, we have $154,415.71. Spot, we have $154,388.35. And for our U fund, we have $27.36. And these numbers are true and accurate to the best of my knowledge. And with that, that is the matter report.
Hello, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed the warm weather today as much as I did. It was fantastic. So first quick reminder, we do start promptly at 7:15 p.m. every single Wednesday. If you know that you are not going to be here by that time, we encourage you to join through the Teams link that is in our link tree on our Instagram, if it's safe and convenient for you to do so. But also, if you are not present by the time I call roll, you are not present and you cannot vote. So make sure that you are here, if nothing else, by roll call. Secondly, please remember to clock your office hours. If, as an absolute last resort, if you have a really hard time remembering to do it on a day-to-day basis, clock them in advance. Just have them already entered so that you do not have to worry about forgetting. And that way I do not give you points because you just forgot to do them. So if that is the solution that works for you, go ahead and use that. Finally, I just want to clarify, the only thing you need to send me to the Senate email or to my personal email, I prefer the Senate email, but the only thing you need to send me regarding office hours is what time and where you're completing them. As long as you're clocking them to Clockify, I can see them. So you do not have to send me anything regarding your office hours except for when and where you're doing them. So that's all. Stay warm, stay safe, and have a great rest of your week. And that's the end of my report.
Okay, I have 2 points. One, remember to fill out the Senate merch form. Link is attached again in the minutes if you guys did not receive that email. And then lastly, if you have any photos, as always, send them to me or now Virginia. Also, I'm going to do my best, because I did see the feedback, I'm going to do my best to attend any and all events that I can. Obviously, given my schedule and what's going on, but I will do my best to attend those so you do not have to take those photos. If I'm not there, I will be reaching out to receive those photos, but I will do my best to take them. With that, have a great rest of your week. Stay safe, have fun. See you next time.
All right, you're about to get a lot of election stuff. So first and foremost, election applications close tomorrow at 5 p.m. Please make sure to turn it in so you will not be considered a write-in candidate and be excluded from things such as debates. Also, don't forget to register at CIC, that's on the 3rd floor, literally right across the hallway from our Senate office. And I have been told that there have been some issues with uploading documents to the applications. If this happens to you, please email the JP email with said documents. Honestly, you can put a placeholder in there. When I tested it out, I just threw my resume in there instead of signature, so just get something to work. In addition, you will also need to sign a slip of paper after your application is turned in. And tomorrow, either me or Graduate Assistant Padilla will make ourselves available to get this done for y'all. So just please communicate with us. Give us a time you'll be around. One of us will be there. Oh yeah, going off that, if you have any more questions about elections, I will always be here to answer them, but so will Graduate Assistant Padilla or Chief Justice Starkey. So just please reach out. And another little reminder, I'm always here to help with RMP changes. So please let me know and we can set up a time to meet and get you guys started. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you.
Just wanted to mention, related to our discussion tonight about the resolution, that I appreciate the civility and the quorum that we maintain around that. I know this has been a difficult decision, but I admire this in this body and look forward to continuing these kinds of discussions. And with that, hope you get a great day. I've always wanted to be on a committee on committees.
Are you jealous?
Way jealous.
think the hardest thing is remembering to do it if you do it when you're in. Remind each other, put reminders on phone, but those go directly to and we know that next a week that many episodes.
Y'all made my last email very eventful. Wow, really don't look at that then. Though it won't be for a while, I just want to put on everyone's radar that the application to be a commissioner, care director, or staff is opening on Friday, March 24th at 9 a.m. Closing on Wednesday. But know that you all can fill the same roles if you want to reapply for that. The application for senators, vice commissioners, and any other commissioner is still open next fall. But yeah, that's the only thing for me. I'm really gonna miss every one of you. But please know that I will still be offering my support throughout the semester. I will be in office time to time, not as often as I but don't be afraid to email me, message me on Slack. I can still give you my support as much as I can. But let's adjourn the meeting. Super excited.
Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Move to adjourn.
Are there any objections to adjournment? Meeting adjourned. Everybody was like, I feel like a teacher at the end of